off with, we delve into our favorite first issues of the month. Here are some brand new stories that we think you can jump right into.
We individually choose a single first issue to Hemingway review. Ernest Hemingway claimed he could break your heart in 6 words, and we are going to try and sell you a comic in just as many. Normally, we then pick a first issue that we all collectively think is the best, has the most promise, just personal favorite. Last month it was Lando. We have a big group discussion about it. This month, we could not decide. Yeah. There's a lot of split hairs, and there weren't that many first issues. Yeah, so this month, we are going to pick the best Hemingway. Collectively, like adults. We even have an outside judge. Reward is a minute of just tell us about why you think whatever comic won was the best first issue of the month.
Can I do why yours wasn't the best first issue of the month?
Not yet. Time permitting.
If Nick wins, then you maybe...
Yeah, if I win, you can shit all over it.
Alright, let's start with Colby. What you got?
Alright, so String Divers, Ashley Wood's project, also Chris Ryall and Nelson Daniel. My Hemingway is Severed Red String Alters Ship's Direction.
Cool. Cryptic.
Super vague.
For my first issue of the month, I chose Over the Garden Wall. It is a comic by Pat McHale and is based on a short Cartoon Network series or something like
that. Research!
It was a short... It was a short comic that they turned into a miniseries on Cartoon Network. My Hemingway review is Chores Misunderstood, Sobbing Cabin Floods Yard.
That's a cool image.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't mean you won the Hemingway.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
And Nick, what do you got?
Got a controversial one. Just to my left.
Only slightly.
I have a Marvel title. My favorite first this month was Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra. It's by David Mandel, art by Michael Walsh and Matthew Wilson. My Hemingway review is Hydra Henchman Life with Seinfeld-esque writing. That sounds like the winner!
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Those are our
favorite first issues this month. So either way, should definitely check them out. There's some very good beginnings to some stories. But who should win?
Crying Cabin.
Your work.
Crying Cabin, go ahead.
Does it feel good?
Thanks. Thanks, Kat.
There is a real good reason that Hank Johnson didn't win. Go ahead.
So now, Seth, you won, fair and square.
Thank you.
You get a whole minute to talk about.
You only won because it's a Crying Cabin
Over the Gauntlet.
comic book.
Well, I decided to talk about it, didn't I? Could have left that out. As I said before, Over the Garden Wall is a continuation of a Cartoon Network cartoon. It is a 4-part series about 2 brothers, Work and Greg, and their companions, a frog and a bird, and they're trying to catch a ride on a horse and buggy passing down a road. They end up at a farm with 2 girls who are trying to shirk their chores onto the older brother, Work, and they are very vague about what they want him to do. So he ends up messing up, he ends up cracking all the chicken's eggs and burning the linens that they're supposed to be drying. And then the girl's dad finds out, and he's kind of the coolest part of this issue is the dad is anthropomorphized as this cabin that's very boisterous and loud and kind of yelling at the kids as they're messing all this stuff up. And once he realizes that all this Work's kind of messed up his whole homestead, he starts crying and kind of floods the yard, and Work and his brother have to kind of run away. But the whole story is about the bird trying to convince Work to be more assertive and not to be as apologetic in what he's doing. And it's a really good comic. It's a good one, a good all-ages comic, and it was really fun and hilarious.
Had you seen the show? What
I
turned you
have
on?
not seen the show. I was just looking for first issues, kind of, you know, how we all do, keep an eye out for them. and this one kind of caught my eye, and I was glad I picked it up.
Did the all ages aspect of it hinder any of the story, or did it make it better? Or
It's
not
definitely
something that we usually.
Sure.
I don't feel like we've ever really picked an all ages book.
Yeah, it's very much in the lens of like a child's book where it follows kind of 3-act structure and a really limited scope, while kind of telling this overarching, maybe moral, but not so heavy-handedly. But other than that, I mean, it is really funny. I thought even non-children will be able to find this comic funny. Well, that ends part 1 of the hits for the month of August. Tune in for part 2 where we will be getting into our favorite comics of the month. Yeah, the best comics that we deem
The best.
the best ever.
And
comics.
August was just full of them.
Yeah, unlike
So-
first issues.
Unlike first issues, there were a ton of great comics that came out either way, so stick around.
Oh, no, we didn't read it. He's just judging the cover.